Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot and Astrology. This reading is for the spring equinox, which actually happened yesterday. So I'm doing this, this is Thursday, the 21st of March. I'm going to start off with a quick quote because we have so much to talk about in the sky. This is from the woman who wrote that book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, which when I read it at the time, I didn't particularly care for. But I like this quote. Her name is Clarissa Pinkola Estes, E-S-T-E-S. And she said, "The miracle of the psyche's ways is that even if you are half-hearted, irreverent, didn't mean to, didn't really hope to, don't want to, feel unworthy of, aren't ready for, you will accidentally stumble upon treasure anyway." I kind of mangled that, but okay, I hope so. I would love to stumble on some treasure about now. I just want to talk quickly about the astrology. There's a lot going on. You know, we have an eclipse, a full moon eclipse coming up on the 25th, so I'm going to try to post for that. And there's some other things I want to talk about then. But tonight, okay, so the sun went into Aries yesterday. And tomorrow, the Thursday, the 21st, it sextiles, which is a positive aspect. Let me get my pencil here. Here it is. Here's the sun. It just moved into Aries. It's 60 degrees from Pluto. I hate the way that this prints out Pluto. I draw Pluto a different way, but anyway. This is a positive aspect. Okay, remember, Pluto is always transformation. And the sun is our self with a capital S, all of you. Even the parts you don't really understand or know about. And it's in Aries, which is the self, like, you know, self-identity, who do you think you are, you know, desires. It's kind of, it's about who you are as separate from everybody else. And so this is a positive aspect because in some sense, in some way, it's hard to do this backwards, you're going to feel a sense of transformation. A sextile is not a huge aspect like a conjunction or an opposition or a square, but it is important. So there's going to be something that helps you transform, and it's in Aquarius, which is communication. So I'm wondering if you're going to get some information from someone that changes the way you look at something about yourself. That would be my interpretation, and that would also go along with what else was I just thinking about? I can't remember. It will come to me. And Pluto's always about power, too. So this can, Aquarius is like the eccentric sign. It's like original and thinking about the future. So this can also be like a new idea that's very different. That's, or it could be you celebrating something about yourself that's very unusual, that other people, you know, you may not fit in or whatever with the group, but you're celebrating that right now. Your eccentricities, your unusual qualities are giving you a feeling of power. That's the way I see it. And then we also have, tomorrow, we also have, where is she? Venus is together with Saturn in Pisces. So the positive aspect of this is that you can like manifest a dream romance. You can, you know, you can like literally start something because Saturn is manifestation, it's reality. Venus is romance, it's what you value, your loved ones, all relationships. And in Pisces, that's a very romantic sign. So this can be extremely, well, potent. I mean, it can bring something down to earth. Maybe something that you've been feeling or thinking about actually shows up in the 3D. It can also be Saturn's negative qualities are restriction, and you could feel a sense of, you know, like a relationship is feeling a little heavy right now, and maybe Saturn has to do with boundaries also, so you could be setting healthy boundaries. But in Pisces, it's more apt that you're feeling like you need to set healthy boundaries because you haven't in the past. So someone could be sort of trespassing your boundaries, and you're having to stand up and say, wait a minute, no, I don't like that. So you know, there's always positive and negative aspects to every aspect and every planet, every sign. So it's a structure. It's definitely a relationship energy. And Pisces is very emotional. It could be a creative project, but I feel like it's more of a relationship. Something that you value is going to have either a restriction or it could be a manifestation, depending on your chart. Okay, and then we also have the next day, Friday, the 22nd. Where's Mars? Mars moves into Pisces. Okay, Mars is a fire god. He rules Aries. And so he's not totally comfortable in Pisces, which is the ocean ruled by Neptune. It's a water sign. It's the last sign of the zodiac. So it's kind of like a soldier or a fiery individual, you know, sort of being stuck at sea and flailing about in the waves, thinking, you know, wait, how am I going to manifest my fiery desires? How am I going to get anything accomplished when I'm stuck in the ocean and there's water all over the place? But it's also good for being very creative. So if you can channel this dreamy Neptunian energy, which is just throwing me for a major loop. I really want Neptune to get out of Pisces because I can hardly think straight. It's just like throwing me for a loop. But anyway, it's really good for artistic projects but you have to kind of surrender to the waves and just say, you know what, I'm not making any forward progress on what I think I want. So I'm just going to give up and go with the flow. And when you do that, if you do that, you might discover that it's a very fruitful, creative time. And I didn't notice this until I just printed this out, that Chiron, the wounded healer, is conjunct Mercury. And actually it was exact yesterday. I didn't even notice that. I don't know how that escaped my attention, but they're both in let me think, I think they're in Aries, aren't they? Yeah, 19 degrees of Aries. So that's what I was thinking. So this sense of power, this transformation that you might feel with the sun sextile Pluto, and the sun's in Aries, your self-identity. I'm thinking that since Chiron, the wounded healer, is together with Mercury, which is communication, siblings, neighbors, that you might get some information that has something to do with a wound, your what's that called? Your primary wound, your deepest wound. Chiron is where we're the most wounded. And again, some people say this wound never heals. A lot of times it comes from childhood, and it has to do with your identity. And I'm kind of feeling that since the sun is a masculine energy, and Pluto, or not Pluto, what was I thinking? Somebody else here. The sun and Mars are both masculine energies. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm feeling like it could have something to do with the father, but I'm not positive about that. It's something that affected your self-identity, though. Someone's going to give you some information. Maybe that's why this Pluto in Aquarius is sextile the sun. You find out something that transforms the way you look at something, and now I'm feeling like it might be something from the past, from your childhood that you're learning. I'm not positive about that, but this is all affecting your sense of self-identity. And here comes Neptune still at the end of Pisces, which makes him very strong. I just feel like he's pouring water all over everything. And we're going to have Jupiter coming up to Uranus. We'll talk about that later because there's so much going on. The moon's in Leo tonight, if you're curious. So I just wanted to point out those things. And also with Mars entering Pisces, you can have assertiveness issues also, because Mars is not particularly assertive. And then with Venus, conjunct Saturn, that's why I'm feeling like you could be working with boundaries here because of all this Piscean energy. Pisces are not known for having really strong boundaries because they're so empathic. They're in tune and ruled by Neptune. Unconditional love, and we are all one. So there you go. Okay. So where was I? So I've done the Cross of Truth, but I also pulled 3 different cards for the astrological aspects. Remember how I've been saying for like weeks, month, I don't know, a long time, I've been saying that I've been expecting the Hanged Man because of all this Neptunian energy, and he just hasn't shown up. Well, finally, tonight, finally, he shows up, and he shows up in the position that represents us. So this is us. You might as well surrender because you're going to end up surrendering anyway. This is Prometheus on the rock with the eagle coming to peck out his liver because he gave fire to mankind, which was against the gods' rule. So this is like the feeling of, you know, like you're just saying, okay, I just can't get anything to go my way. And with Mars moving into Pisces tomorrow, that's going to be even more like that, where you kind of just have to surrender and know that something higher than you is in charge. Because with all this Pisces energy, it's like, I said this last time, it's like building a sandcastle on the beach, and then a wave comes along and knocks it down. Okay, then I asked, what blesses us? And I was surprised to get the Four of Cups, because this is generally not a very happy card. It's usually a card of boredom or just apathy, not caring. And then I thought to myself, you know what though, with all of this Neptunian energy, if you can maintain emotional neutral, you're doing really well, because this is a very challenging time. So I think this is our blessing. I think it's telling us not to get caught up in our emotions, because there's so much emotion with all this Piscean and Neptunian energy going around. Then I asked, what's our challenge? The challenge is the Ace of Swords, which is normally a new idea. I'm thinking that right now our challenge is to retain our clarity of thinking and to focus. Because again, with Piscean energy and Neptune toward the end degrees of Pisces, your mind could be scattered all over the place. Think of the ocean. Is it tidy? Is it focused? No, it spills over. When it crashes into a rock, it just goes everywhere. So I think at this time we're probably lacking some mental focus. You might feel like your mind is all over the place. Don't feel bad, you're not alone. So that's our challenge. It's a kind of a mental challenge. And if you'll notice, we have, well, we haven't gotten there yet, but we have cups and swords. We have emotions and we have thoughts. No pentacles anywhere to be seen. Okay, and then I said, what's behind us? What are we leaving behind? The Eight of Swords. So we've had a lot of mental turmoil. And if you haven't already left it behind, you need to. Because there's no point. There's no point in thinking is not going to solve things right now. You know, we had all that Aquarius energy a while ago, but now, again, you know, and where's the chart again? If you look down here, you know, we have Pluto in Aquarius, that's all. Then we have 4 planets in Pisces, Mars, Venus, Saturn, Neptune. Now we have the Sun, the North Nodes, Chiron, and Mercury in Aries, and then Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So we have only 4 signs represented. I'm not counting the moon because it moves so quickly, like every 2.5 days it changes signs. But where was I going with this? Oh, I guess I was saying because there are no pentacles on here. Well, we do have some Earth energy, but it's the outer planets, Jupiter and Uranus. No personal planets in Earth right now. So we are gonna, you know, try to leave the agonizing thinking behind. And then what's in front of us? This is interesting. We get the Six of Cups, which is usually the kind of the childhood nostalgia card, but since it's in front of us, and I feel like this is usually a positive thing, I'm thinking that this information that you might get could be something positive from your childhood that changes the way you look at something. And if not, it looks like we're going to ground our emotions, or at least have emotional neutral. But the Six of Cups is not neutral. The Six of Cups is very, what would I call it? It can be heartache, like thinking of, it's nostalgia, it's thinking about the past, but it can also just be caring. You could be thinking of fondly of the past and your childhood, or happy memories, or people that you loved. because this is in front of us. So I think this is coming whether we want it to or not. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not getting a bad vibe from it. And then I'm going to show you the cards. Where did I put them? Oh, that I pulled for the planetary conjunctions before I show you the shadow cards, because it's interesting. So I said, so what's the energy of the sun moving into Aries sextiling Pluto? And I get the Knight of Wands. This is action. And again, we're the Hanged Man, which doesn't look very active, but there's a feeling at least of, you may be moving forward slowly, but at least you're wanting to move forward. You're feeling some desire. And I see a little bit of movement here. So you're making some progress finally, in spite of the waves that keep knocking everything down. There's some get up and go. And then I asked, what's the card, the energy for Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces? And I get the Nine of Wands. And this is the card of, it's a good card because you're almost at the end. You can see your goal. You can see the end, but it also has a negative connotation in that it can mean that you're very tired because you've traveled a long way and you feel like, you know, you're like, oh yay, there's home, there's Ithaca, I'm almost there. And then what do you come up against? Oh my God, I have to go find a way to go around these rocks. So it's another delay. So you're not quite there yet, but at least you can see the end is in sight. Then I pulled a card for Mars moving into Pisces, and I got the Death card, which is our only major arcana. No, it isn't. The Hanged Man is, sorry. Death, which is really interesting because, you know, surrender is a form of death. And I said the sun, this should actually be the card for the sun sextile Pluto, because that's transformation. But we are undergoing a kind of a transformation here, a letting go of something. With Mars entering Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac, there's a cycle of actions and desires that is coming to an end. Anytime we reach the end of Pisces, you know, Pisces is the last sign, like I said. So something that you've been working on is coming to an end. And it could be a desire that you're finally, you know, it's finally starting to leave you a bit. But again, this is transformation. It's not the end. It's simply the beginning of a new cycle. So the end of an old one, the beginning of a new one. And that goes kind of with the Hanged Man, because yeah, he's surrendering, but he's not giving up. He's just letting go and saying, you know, I have to let something higher than I am, something bigger than I am, take hold. So it looks like thoughts are not the way to go. Emotions are better, but control them. But here's what's interesting. So then I pulled a shadow card, and actually two fell out. But I get the Nine of Wands, which is interesting because that's the one that came out for Venus conjunct Saturn. So it's also our shadow card. So it's being resilient, it's continuing to grow, but it's also being kind of guarded because there's something that's not quite, you know, there's one more barrier in front of you. See, she's blocked, and she's not happy about that. But there is a way through. She just hasn't seen it yet, but there is a way through. And then this one fell out, and I'm not quite sure how this figures in or if it really meant to come out, but I got the Eight of Wands, which is interesting because the Eight of Wands is movement, and it's also hope. I'm thinking, why would hope be our shadow card? Are we wrong to hope? I don't think so. Maybe it's telling you, you know, that hope alone won't get you there. I'm really not sure how this figures in, so I'm pulling it out. It's movement. Maybe it's that feeling that you have of like wanting to be somewhere else and thinking that's going to make everything better. Or maybe it's this Knight of Wands where you think, you know, I need to move. I need to do something. And then our card is saying, no, you're really, you know, you're not quite ready yet. You have to surrender first and just hold still for just a little bit longer. So perhaps this is a shadow card because we want movement, but I'm not quite sure we're ready exactly now. Okay, then I'm going to draw let's see, I'll just draw a couple of oracle cards just to see what we get here. I would love to hear from you and hear how this is treating you. I'm just, and remember, you know, the sun's moving into Aries, and we're having a full moon eclipse in Libra on the 25th of March. And remember that the North and South nodes are respectively in Aries and Libra. So this is going to be about relationships, this moon, and relationships of all kinds. And you know, it could be a start of a new romance or something, but it could also be you know, dealing with past relationships and having an aha moment or a release or whatever. Full moons are usually a culmination, but this one is eclipsed, so something's hidden. I just feel like something hidden is coming to light. Okay, interesting. We get Yang. Okay, this is the sun moving into Aries. We finally get some masculine forward energy rather than all of this Piscean energy going on. So this is good. That's good. We need some, you know, we got a lot of wands tonight. We got, let's see, what do we get? We got 2 wands. Of course, two of the wands is our shadow cards also. So there's that. But let's see, what, just tell us something. Oh, time for a nap. I actually took a long nap today, so there. Yeah, I think we are kind of weary right now because this has been a long haul, all this Pisces energy, and I'm not trying to put down Pisces energy because it's so great for creativity. I love Neptunian energy, but it can be rather tiring because it's so emotional. So that kind of goes along with the Four of Cups, like be, you know, kind of just be an emotional neutral if you can, and try not to feel like you have to rush off and conquer the world, because you're probably not going to right now. But again, there's some solace to be had in remembering. In the last week, I have dropped more things on the floor than I have in the whole rest of my life combined. I'm not kidding. I might as well just, and I don't know, I give up. I'm the Hanged Man. I'm just like, I give up. There's some solace and some comfort to be found in past memories, I think. I don't think she's grieving. This can be the mourning card, but I don't think she's grieving. I think she's going back and thinking of, you know, pleasant times. Not that this isn't a pleasant time. I'm not saying that. It is. We've got some good energy coming up. You know, it's starting. This is the beginning of spring in the northern hemisphere, so I guess that's the beginning of fall in the southern hemisphere. Equinox means equal night in Latin, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the day when the amount of light and dark are equal. So that's pretty neat. Balance. Okay. I've gone on long enough. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I'm going to try to post again I'm going to try to do a sign-by-sign reading for the full moon eclipse coming up. So I hope I can start that tomorrow night. But anyway, please leave me a comment. I love to read them. Thank you so much for listening. Blessings. Good night.